Welcome to the Firebelly Social Show. We're focused on talking to food and beverage brands that are on a mission to make the world better.
Hey, everyone. It's Duncan Alney here, your host with the Firebelly Social Show. And we have our co-host, Arnell, in the house. What's up, Arnell?
What's up?
It's a beautiful day, and we have a great guest for everyone today. Let's start out with the sponsor message, Arnell.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the latest episode of the Firebelly Social Show. We have a great show lined up for you today, talking with Dana, founder of purpose-driven tahini brand SoCo. This episode is brought to you by Firebelly Marketing. At Firebelly, we help mission-based food and beverage brands bring people closer through social media marketing. So if you're ready to use social media to create more community and excitement around your food and beverage brand, go to firebellymarketing.com to learn more. And thank you, Dana, for joining us today.
We're so excited to have you, Dana. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I just wanted to say that I'm really excited to be here. And I know that my name is pronounced is written Dana, but it's actually Dana. And
Dana. Sorry about that.
Dana Harary.
Dana.
She's in the house, everyone, and we stand corrected. And Dana, you grew up in Israel, and you grew up with tahini. And over the many trips coming to the U.S., you discovered that there was sort of like this vacuum when it came to tahini in the U.S. Is that sort of roughly the genesis of the brand?
Yeah, roughly, combined with my amazing co-founders that have the same passion as I do, and I joined them a little bit after they started it in Brooklyn, after feeling the same way about tahini and the lack of tahini in the U.S.
That's funny. It isn't just tahini; it's the lack of tahini. It's like, and it is a lack that has left us poorer here in the United States. I mean, we have embraced your way of thinking, where tahini is not something that you put on one or two things, but it is really a staple, right? Give us kind of like your perspective on how ubiquitous tahini is.
Yeah, I think the best equivalent to say is like in the Mediterranean, tahini is like butter for the French. Okay, we use it as a sauce, we use it as a dip, we use it as a spread in our baking, as a topping, as like just so many different things. And we probably eat it. I mean, I eat it around 3, 4, 5 times a day, sometimes in different types of meal. Either I will whip up a real quick dip by just adding a liquid to the tahini because it emulsifies and it turns into this amazing dip, or I'll put it on my ice cream, or I will use it instead of an egg in some vegan baking. Because 1 tablespoon of tahini can substitute an egg sometimes in certain baking. So it's just so versatile. It's nut free, so it's great as instead of peanut butter and jelly, we can do a tahini and jelly, and just really the sky is the limit to what you can do with tahini.
I mean, okay, so you definitely have our attention and everyone's attention on this, but I have to ask this. Like, what is one of the most unexpected ways? I think you already said it, but give us a bit more scoop. What is one of the most unexpected ways that you can enjoy tahini, or you personally enjoy tahini?
So one of the things that we've introduced to the Americans in the U.S. is to upcycle their pickle juice, and instead of just doing the traditional lemon water tahini dip that we do in the Mediterranean, we said, hey, everyone has dill pickles, like the majority. Let's not say everyone, but a very big part of the population in the United States has a jar of dill pickles in their fridge. And many times this liquid, which has so much flavor in it and many times also fermented, so even more nutritional benefits, just gets thrown away. And we said, hey, take this pickle juice and mix it with our tahini because our tahini is just so creamy and delicious. Together, you'll create an amazing tahini pickle juice dip. And whenever we say this to people, they look at us like we've lost our mind. Because tahini, you're only supposed to make hummus with it, right? But then they try it and they're blown away. So that has been our go-to. Like whenever we demo our tahini, we'll let people taste it as is, because as is it's just like velvety and rich and delicious and not bitter. Like many Americans feel like tahini is bitter, maybe. And then we add the pickle juice, and that's it. We had them at a hello at pickle juice.
Very cool.
That is amazing.
Yeah. So where did the idea of SoCo come from? So I know it stands for Seeds of Collaboration, but what does that mean for you?
Well, because we come from Israel, me and my two co-founders, and there is a consensus that the best tahini comes from Nablus, which is a Palestinian city where they continue to make tahini in a traditional stone ground method. So we partnered with one of the best tahini makers out there who his family has been making tahini for like 5 generations.
Wow.
Tahini brands and companies many times will go over there to learn how to make tahini. And so together with him, we have created SoCo. And basically, we lead by example, but also by donation. So we also donate 1% of our revenue to an organization that is called MEET. It stands for Middle Eastern Entrepreneurs of Tomorrow. It's in collaboration with MIT, where teachers, professors from MIT go to Israel for this program where young teenagers, Palestinians and Israelis come together and create businesses like ours. So to us, and I think for everyone, food is a connector. We all know that, we can definitely find common grounds around food. And in our case, it's tahini. That's it.
That's an inspiring story. It really is. I know before we talk about the story part of it, I just want to make sure that for the sake of maybe someone or many people out there that don't know kind of the breakdown of tahini itself. I know you were telling us earlier it is a superfood. Give us kind of the benefits, like all the amazing reasons to consume it.
Well, first of all, I think it's important to say that tahini is made out of sesame. And so what happens is the way that you would stone grind any other seed or nut and turn it into butter, what we do the same process with sesame and turn it into, some would call it a sesame butter. In the States and in general, it's you can find it in the international aisle or in the seed and nut butter aisle. It really depends on which grocery store you're going to. And it is nutrient dense. It's full of calcium and protein and iron and magnesium and very healthy fats. And it is a superfood. So you're eating delicious, nutritious at the same time. And it's not processed. It's not heavily processed. It's just like real food for real people who want to enjoy life, basically.
Bravo.
Yes. I love that. What are some of your favorite tahini flavors? I know you guys have a few. Which one do you like the most?
I love our tahini and pesto. It is
That
just
sounds so good.
It is amazing. It is just so easy to use it. I mean, all of our tahinis are super easy to use, but because this one already has like the herby, lemony flavor in it, just as a salad dressing, the way it is, you don't have to do anything with it. It kind of gets the juices from the salad. It gets like from the tomatoes and whatever. And so it just incorporates everything together. It's an amazing pasta sauce. And it brings creaminess into pasta sauces that are vegan. So it's an interesting situation for many people where, they are looking for a way to bring in creaminess without eating anything that is made out of animals. So.
And I know
Yes.
you were telling us last time it's a good source of calcium. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Good source of calcium. It's plant based. What are some of the other kind of like features that people should think about?
Well, it's full of protein. It's yeah, I mean, it is full of calcium and protein and magnesium and iron. Um, Another very interesting thing to know about sesame is that it doesn't need pollination to it's like a very it's a crop that is more sustainable in many ways. So it doesn't need bees to pollinate, and it's drought resistant, and it doesn't need pesticides. So basically, you're really getting it's a super seed in terms of agriculture, in terms of nutrition, in terms of sustainability. It's a great seed to work with.
I think the last time we talked, Arnell and I were laughing afterwards about tahini on everything.
Yes. And I love that, it's so healthy. And just at the beginning of this podcast, you talk about all the different ways to use it. And I think that, us Americans here, it's still so new. We're still discovering ways to learn it, ways to implement it in our dish. And just some of the examples you've given is just so simple, it on ice cream, mixing it in with pickle juice. So I really love that. And on the website, you guys have a lot of really great recipes that people can easily go to and get ideas on how to use and implement tahini in their dishes. One question I have for you is that I know you have a really great marketing background in the food space and experience in food and beverage. How did that come into play when you were finding and founding SoCo?
Well, one of the things that we kind of knew from the very beginning is that although tahini is still small, the market penetration is still in its early days. We do know and anticipate that this market is only going to continue growing. And the more people know what tahini is and how to use it, the more growth we'll see. So when we look at other countries sometimes for inspiration, and many times we look at Israel as a microcosmos of like a pilot type of a country because it's small. It's the population is more Western, and the behaviors are many times similar to behaviors in the States. So one of the things that we know is that tahini, and we know this because we grew up in Israel, tahini 30 years ago was not what it is today in Israel. Once people understood that they can mix tahini with some type of a liquid, and in our case, we're even mixing our tahini with apple juice to create a fruit dip, our tahini and dates with apple juice, a splash of vanilla, and some cinnamon. Once they realized that trick and how easy it is to do at home, tahini just started to grow very like exponentially. And so this is something that we feel that could be implemented in the States, but there is need for a lot of market education. So many times we will You know, it's market education needs a lot of resources, right? You need
Mhm.
a lot of money to do market education. But because we do see that there are returning customers that are doing this, once they get this trick, they
Yes.
return to buy the tahini and they show how their friends are doing. They show their friends how to do it, and it turns into something that they do on a daily basis. That is part of our goal right now. And it's just a matter of time until people start um, using tahini 3, 4 times a day, just like I do.
And it does seem like the timing is right. I mean, I know from our own experience talking to other founders and seeing the news, coming out of Expo and looking at trends, even trends on Pinterest. It seems like culturally a food that is originating out of distinct cultures, plant based, no bullshit on the label, clean
Mhm.
food, high protein, things that are good for you seem like that is what people are hungry for. I think, and it seems to me like tahini does all those things, right? It's. I think, as you say, poised. It's tahini's moment is coming soon.
Yeah, well, it does sit on a bunch of intersections that are super relevant in the natural food space and in the culinary food space. So, for culinary explorers who are, understanding more and more about the Mediterranean, Middle Eastern, New Israeli kitchen, um, it's a great way for people to, you know, start using tahini at home and oh, I'm doing new Israeli kitchen. That's really cool, isn't it? um if it's for people that are plant-based, which and by the way, we are a plant forward company, so we're not only a tahini company, so every tahini is plant-based, but you will only find plant-based vegan content on our website. So we're really leaning
Very
into
cool.
um, yeah, giving more and more options to the vegan community or people that are trying to eat less meat or less dairy, less eggs, whatever. And to show them how easy it can be to incorporate a bunch of different nutrients and creaminess in their dishes and still having a plant-based dish. So that is something that we really are happy to accommodate. It's part of our way of thinking. And yes, I mean, my background and my co-founder's background in the CPG space has taught us a lot to bring us to, the point where we are at. And us being foodies are on our own, right? Like, and culinary explorers, that doesn't hurt. Um,
Yes.
so we do feel like tahini really sits on a bunch of different intersections, behaviors, needs, and when you're able to satisfy a need, that is when you're able to grow.
I think
Get
that's really,
that.
really inspiring. I know when we were talking earlier, we talked about stories and food being, I think your words were food is the story about culture and talking about, change coming from inside of kitchens. Hey, tell us a little bit more about that. I think we both found that very inspiring.
Yeah, well, we every email that we send, in our signature it says seeding a healthy change in kitchens and communities. And I think that basically is a sentence that can really describe us as a whole, as a brand, and us, the people that are behind the brand. We do try to lead a healthier life in our mindset and what we eat and how we treat the world and how we understand the what the food space can do to create a healthier world if it's individual health of people and if it's the way people communicate with one another and if it's in terms of sustainability and climate change. I mean, we're still small. I'm waiting for the days where SoCo will be a leader in being a significant part of the solution. But that is what we are and what we stand for. So it's in kitchens and in communities. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think that's awesome.
it's
Thank you.
Go ahead.
interesting. As we were talking, I remembered. I've been thinking all these days, where did I have my most interesting and like memorable experience with tahini for the first time? And it was probably 5 or 6 years ago in New Orleans. And there's a chef there. I think it's Alon Shaya. And I want to say that it was harissa was in the recipe, and I had never had anything like that before. And they said that when people like, I'm guessing that in New Orleans people come from everywhere, but I'm guessing that it's predominantly Americans. Is that they couldn't keep the dish, stocked. It was they run out of it every night.
Mm-hmm.
It was completely unexpected, but
Yeah.
we want to just thank you for your courage, and taking such a wonderful product to the market, and the courage that it takes to embark on education, the importance of it. And also I want to thank you because I know stories are critical, and that you are not disconnecting the story from the product, and the fact that the story is what connects us ultimately, and it makes the product so much stronger, and makes the lifestyle around it stronger. And I love that you're not willing to compromise on that.
Thank you. Yeah, we really do care about our authenticity and what we put in our product. Our labels are super clean. We don't use sugar. We only sweeten our products by dates. We don't even use citric acid. It's to us to keep it as simple as possible, and to show the simplicity of using it. It's key for our growth. And hopefully we'll be able to continue doing that with all of our next products in line to do the same thing.
That's awesome. How about what do you think is coming up next for SoCo?
Oh, wow.
Great question.
So much. Yeah. Well, first of all, we have 3 flavors in 3 different types of packaging that we are supporting their growth in the different channels. If it's food service, and if it's in direct to consumer, and if it's in the brick and mortar. And that is a huge job on its own. And looking forward, we are looking into more product development, of course, as part of our growth and plans for the future. And hopefully we'll be in the grocery store near you real soon.
That's so exciting. What advice do you have for other people getting started, other founders who are maybe in a position you were a couple years ago?
If you really believe in something, and if you really, really want something to happen, don't give up. This is a dream that I've had since 2010. That is when I started dreaming up my tahini-based product company. And it took me a very long time to find the right partners, to find the right situation, to find it's a lot of legwork, but it's also not giving up, even if you think that, it's far, far away from you and maybe right around the corner. And I think what really helped me was telling everyone what I wanted to do. I didn't keep it a secret. Many times people will, they have an idea, so they'll keep it as a secret so no one steals it from them, or, for someone to do your idea, I mean, they really need to love it. It takes so much effort and so much stamina to actually bring something to life. And so by just telling people what I wanted to do and the potential that I see in tahini, I was able to find my co-founder, because for many years, and I would walk the floor in international food shows, and there are huge shows in Germany and in France, and on my spare time, I'd walk the floor and look to see what innovation is there in the tahini space. And I did that quite a few times. And I looked for a partner, and everyone around me knew that is what I wanted to do. And eventually, 3 months after I moved to the States, a really good friend of mine called me and she said, "Listen, I just found your co-founder. She lives in Brooklyn, and it's as if she was reading your mind across the ocean, because she just started this tahini brand, and it has everything that you've been talking about. It's mission driven, and it's flavors, and she's such a nice person, and you really need to meet her. And she just started the company, and you need to meet her, because I think she's looking for someone to co-found it with her. And I think you'd really hit it off." And so timing is also, a huge piece of it, because I just moved to the States, and this happened. So maybe I was manifesting it.
Totally.
But it's like finding a needle in a haystack, finding a person to go on this journey with you. And that, we don't agree on every single thing. It wouldn't be fun otherwise, right?
Yes.
And we do push each other to think differently and look at different ideas. But all in all, it's one of the best things that happened to me.
That's awesome. I love how you mentioned the telling people what's going on and what your ideas are. Not only it's something that I do too, but not only does it help you stay held accountable to what you say and what you do, but just to your point, because other people knew what you wanted, they were able to help you and assist you into getting where you needed to go.
Exactly. And I
Uh,
think that's what community is all about, right? I mean, we talk about community, and, we are a community is like, it's a word that we use so much all the time. But in real life here, this is how community and being part of a community and having real life friendships within my community brought me to a place that I really wanted to be at.
That's phenomenal. I love the idea of no secrets. It's like, let's put it out there, because at the end of the day, you are the only one that can complete your journey the way you can. And just because you put the secrets out there or your intentions out there doesn't mean someone else is going to go do it. They're more likely to spread your story and to support you than try to do what you're doing. And so
Yeah, I totally agree. And I mean, first of all, I don't feel like you can really keep many secrets these days anyway. Anyway, everyone knows everything
Totally. Yes.
regardless. Um, but even when I look at and there are a few tahini brands out there, and I look at what they're doing, and some of them are doing a wonderful job, and they're doing things different than us. But they are we have like the one mission of educating people about tahini, and none of us have super deep pockets. So it's great that we're all, pitching in and doing it. And each one of us is showing a different angle on what you can do with tahini, how you can incorporate it in different foods. There's candy that is based on tahini. It's not necessarily for our brand, but I enjoy eating tahini based candy, you know? So I'm just saying it's I don't feel like keeping secrets around what you're doing and how you're doing it. I mean, it's just pointless at this for now, I think.
In this stage of life, with what's going on with the internet. I get you. What about your lifestyle as a founder? Obviously, you're very busy. There's a lot going on with the brand, lots of growth coming up for the brand. How do you stay grounded?
Well, first of all, I eat tahini 3 times a day. It's very relaxing. And it is known for that, by the way.
Cool.
I have a wonderful supporting family. I have 3 young children that keep me super busy and keep me mindful of what is important in life and not to dwell on different things that may be less important. Try to look at the bigger picture and always, set an example for them. My kids see a mother that is very attentive to them, very caring. They're the most important thing in the world for me, but they also see a mother that is working really, really hard to build something. I think it's an amazing example, especially for our 2 young girls, to show them that you can have a family. You can also have a career. You can even have your own company. And they helped me build the company too. I mean, my kids have T-shirts that say, join our tahini revolution. And they go to school with these T-shirts and they're just so proud that it's amazing. So I think that is, I'm trying to remember what was the question that you asked, but I think it was the right answer.
No, you answered it. You answered it. I mean, in the words of Whitney Houston, right? The children are the future. So it's like not often we get to bring Whitney into it, but we brought her in today. So it's really cool. I wanted to ask you, how can people that are listening find the product, and where all can they find it?
Well, we do have our own online store. So if you go to www.eatsoco.com, you will be able to either buy our product, or you can go into the Tahini Finder and see which retailer carries us. So yeah, those are the different ways to find us these
Wonderful.
days.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you coming on the show, and thank you for making the world a better place and your courage. And Arnell, you want to take us out with the sponsor message?
Absolutely. So this episode is brought to you by Firebelly Marketing. At Firebelly, we help mission-based food and beverage brands bring people closer through social media marketing. So if you're ready to use social media to create more community and excitement around your food and beverage brand, go to firebellymarketing.com to learn more.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And we'll see you on the flip side.
Thanks for listening to the Firebelly Social Show. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.